Two things. Well, Street Fighter 6 leads into it.
Here they come, the Battletoads. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another Sleepy Bear Bears and Chairs podcast, another stream. I'm Ray. As I can't speak because I'm almost choking on my coffee. Top left is Tang, and to the right is Nags on a beach setting.
I'm in the goddamn beach, man.
I'm in the beach, man. Of course, my special background is what you see on the whole interface, because that's what I'm doing, because I'm using my OBS virtual camera.
What you see on the whole.
It's my interface, where I interface with people.
It's my outer face.
Spooter face.
But is a podcast if you can see it? Or is it a streamcast? Or just
cast.
If you were real happy to see it, is it a Dreamcast?
I'd be real happy to see a Dreamcast again.
I like the idea of a Dreamcast.
Dreamcast podcast. Welcome. Welcome to dreaming. Tell us your dreams.
Speaking of dreams, my nightmare's over. Ray finally beat Link's Awakening last night.
You're lying.
I'm not.
Nope.
Very good, very good.
That was just your dream. This is Dreamcast.
Fuck. It's not over?
Yeah.
I gotta deal with it again?
You went to bed and dreamt that he beat it. Oh my god.
It's gonna happen again.
No. Fuck. I'm gonna go.
Because now I gotta do the remake.
The
irony is he went to bed and beat it too.
You mean like this?
Like that? Do I look like the overly attached girlfriend? Yeah. So how y'all doing this morning and everything that's been happening so far, especially after awakening from Link's Awakening?
Just a little tired, but more of like a recovery tired. Not like can't wake up. Like I woke up 3 times. And I'm just like I should probably sleep more.
Yeah, me too. Don't worry.
Yeah,
This close.
I had the big problem with that as well. Like, just geez, I think my alarm went off at like 5 a.m. and I was like, I'm good. And then all of a sudden I blink at 6 a.m. Like, okay, time to get ready.
Got the ice pack on already.
Went off at 4 a.m. because I was considering joining a friend down at Annapolis Mall for a 6-mile run because it was so warm. And even though I normally take Wednesdays rest day, when the weather starts getting decent, it's always so tempting to just keep going and going.
Oh yeah, even though next week it's still going to be cold, but it's still going to be a little warmer than it has been.
Yeah, like if you compare it to the rest of the beginning of the year, even when it's like it'll be 45 degrees, you're like, oh yeah.
You're like, hell yeah, I'll take it. Not freezing my nuts off.
I'm taking as well. I mean, I was like looking yesterday, especially with like the little bit of a mist that was happening with like 60 degrees and seeing people running without shirts. I'm like, yeah, it's perfect running weather.
Did you join them?
I can't say I did because I would probably have to jump out the car and just be like, let's run right now.
I mean, that would be the best story I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I was so excited to run. I saw these people running. I just stopped my car right there and ran next to them.
I'm excited about.
They accepted me into their tribe. Next thing you know, I was their local daimyo.
Konnichiwa.
They call me Boba Fett.
You lost a little weight. Don't worry about him.
Boba lost weight?
from when we
Never
saw him,
worked.
from when we saw him at the end of Mandalorian to when he started his own show, he lost a little bit of weight. Good for him.
Well, he,
Very good.
to be
Or like
honest, Tim
Christian
probably
Bale.
never thought he was going to reprise. So
Exactly. It was like, now you guys want me on screen? Shit.
I was like, all right, gotta look good. As CM Punk said when he started in AEW, gotta look good in my underwear again.
well, if you've seen any recent posts from Manu Bennett, he's not in like Spartacus Slade shape anymore. Didn't look bad, but
He's not.
not the jacked mofo he was.
No.
He was definitely a Jack Mofo.
Well, you want to talk about some jacked mofos?
Ryu. They used Hot Ryu as the hot default costume.
Hot dad, Ryu, right? You know he's not a dad.
You know,
He's not dead.
I watched that teaser trailer too, and let me just say what I need to say about it, and you guys can go on your little tangent about it. See what I did there?
Yes, I did. Very nicely done.
Let's see what he says. I'm
I
eagerly
don't-
waiting.
I don't know why they had to focus on his nipples so much. Like, yeah, I get it. Like, he's sitting there like,
See, I didn't even.
yeah,
notice
that looks
he had
cool.
nipples.
Yeah, I guess you can call them nipples. I mean, maybe they're just aerial placeholders. I don't know.
Where they
He
were
has
showing
nipples,
off.
Ken.
They were showing off the fact that it was A, an RE engine, and B, they were showing that they were actually showing muscle striation. So you see him flex his chest, and it goes from being soft to see the striation across the bottom of the pectoral, which is like insane. I don't know if you caught that part. And every little thing, every little muscle that it's not just like, here's block body, haha. Like they went and actually rendered a full like sculpting on top of like a mesh that's just
Ryu has nipples, Ken. Can you milk him?
that shows off all the musculature, which, you know, does that automatically mean that it's going to be a good game? But if you compare
Not at all. It could be
to,
terrible.
like what Capcom has been known for, just, you know, crapping all over the budget for Street Fighter and other fighting games. It's like, okay, so you're saying you're going to put money into it.
So you're telling me there's a chance? Yes. It automatically looks better than Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. That's not hard.
Yeah. So is this Capcom's like return finally? I mean,
To fighting games, they've been returned. It's just fighting games is
yeah.
The
What
question.
is Capcom synonymous with? Has been fighting games. They were like kings of fighting games for 15 years. Yeah, and that's not just Street Fighter, Rival Schools. Shoot, you can name crazy amounts of Capcom fighting games.
Yeah, especially in the time that it took to get from Street Fighter V to Street Fighter 6. It's been like 6 years or so. I believe in the 90s, Capcom put out all the Street Fighter 2s, all the way up to the Marvel vs. Capcoms, and were on the way to Street Fighter 3 in a 6-year span in the 90s. They just were a factory of fighting games, and now it's just like, last couple of years, here's Street Fighter 5, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite sprinkled in there.
Yeah,
That's pretty much it.
X-Men Children of the Atom was Capcom 1, was Capcom 2. Capcom vs. SNK, Capcom vs. SNK 2. Techromancer, shoot.
The thing that
Red
dropped
Earth.
in the Fighting Evolution, Red Earth, yes, I was about to say Red Earth.
Yeah, Red Earth. Rival Schools 1
I'm
and
more
2.
excited about those games, to tell you the truth, because they all get netcode. Really, really good
Darkstalkers.
netcode. All the Darkstalkers.
Yeah. And how much of this is them being like, okay, so we have probably next to Mortal Kombat the most valuable fighting game franchise name in the world, in Street Fighter. Like there's that's the two like peaks IP wise Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat. Everyone knows
We have
who
to
they
compete
are.
with Warner Brothers.
You have it's instant name recognition. It has instant, easily there's Ryu and Ken, Scorpion, Sub-Zero. You have mascots that everybody knows. Even if there's a bunch of other characters in the game nobody knows, you still have the main ones. And are they watching as all these other game companies are? A, putting money into their netcode. B, putting money into their graphics and ingenuity of game design. And now Riot's getting into it. And SNK has come back from the dead. ArcSys has pretty much taken over as the main creator of games. Smash did incredibly. King of Fighters 15 is killing it. Just like last week, they were top. Like this last week when it launched, it was top 3 on global sales on Steam.
My boy Ralph was killing it in that game.
Do you own it?
Not yet, though. Do you have it on PC, Tang? Because I'm actually going to be getting it in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I have it on PC.
I'm going to get it on PC then, because I got to take the plunge on that game. That game just looks too sick.
PC.
It's super fun. Ironically, PC is considered the best play experience on it.
Yeah.
It has the least input lag. The matchmaking's great, especially with rollback.
Yeah, I can't wait to throw people up in the air with freaking Clark and just be like, get on my back, get on my back, and just juggle motherfuckers, and then just slam to the ground, and then freaking Ralph with his walking away from his explosion Gatling gun punch. And I'm just like, oh my god, and they made him top tier too.
Ralph's always fun. Yeah, it's funny enough, the PS5, the heralded fighting game console, is actually the worst gameplay experience. Has the most
Penis
input
5.
lag. It said the next best one to play besides PC was just the Xbox Series X.
Ooh.
The fact that it's on Xbox, SNK put it on Xbox, is showing you the state of SNK right now, because they're killing it now since they came back with KOF 14 and they got the Samurai Showdown money.
Yeah,
and they're just like, all right, let's put some
Samurai Showdown had launched at the same time on PC and /or Xbox. I would have bought it day one because it looked incredible, but it was a penis 4. And I'm over there. What's a penis 4?
What is it for? We don't know. Good grief. And then they've been like, leasing their characters to other games. Terry Bogard's in just about every game, including Smash.
Well, yeah, because you get people familiar. Like, what people buy fighting games for characters. So
yeah, and Sakurai was a huge KOF fan.
You probably have people that have never touched a King of Fighters that loved Terry and Smash that bought King of Fighters 15.
Another key little detail about Terry, though, that I like, Tang, I think you picked up on, is his Garo costume. When he does his hat toss, he doesn't do the hat toss. He just fixes his hair. So it's not just a reskin. They actually gave him a different animation for his coat.
There's tons of little detail made in all these character models like that. Yeah. KOF 15 is obviously okay, we proved that King of Fighters is back with 14. Now we have budget, and it clearly became a labor of love for people. This is
they're shattering my expectations.
They're next level on so many things. They did everything to the T. The only thing they didn't do was the old adage of the SNK boss trope. This boss is still very much an SNK boss, but it's not crazy pull your hair out SNK boss. It just kind
not
of
Omega
looks
Rugal.
like one. But the rest of it, it's just okay. Not only do we have incredibly deep gameplay, we have incredibly accessible gameplay. You can just mash jab and you'll do combos. It won't do as much as if you don't do that, but you can still make the person do cool crap which is what most people just want to jump into a fighting game and do. And what do most people do? Mash jab.
This guy.
I want to mash jab, get some combos.
And then netcode's great. They made sure they put all in the online play features, rank play, casual play, create rooms, stuff like that. All these things that Street Fighter V didn't launch with.
Didn't launch with anything. It launched with Banana Hair Ken.
Tutorials, mission modes. So you have combo modes for characters. You already have announced DLC. Like they're all in, and it's between an SNK and ArcSys and the other things going on, and the rumors of a return of KI. Man, Capcom cannot afford to miss on Street Fighter 6.
No, because the fighting game industry has pretty much passed them by in the last couple of years, and you're seeing that with the Smash community, you're seeing that with the Tekken community, you're seeing that with, like you said, SNK, ArcSys. All these companies now have just stepped up and have been like fighting game kings, and Capcom, the original fighting game kings, have been the Emperor has no clothes. In terms of most of the DLC for Street Fighter V, most of the characters had no clothes. And at the end of the day, Street Fighter V did become profitable for Capcom and became a good thing. It is basically the FF14 of fighting games, where it actually became a good thing because the developers of Street Fighter VI took it over from Ono's team and actually made the game better than what it should have been from day one. So let's see from day one if they can actually deliver. So far, though, the way they delivered on the trailer is amazing, and they're showing Ryu flexing his toes and his nipples as Nags focused on quite intensely. Even though I was focusing on his toes.
That's all I saw.
Yeah. You remember the one episode of C-Lab 2021 where they're on like Stimutax and like acid and everything like that, and the one guy was like hanging from the ceiling? He's like, I bet I could kill a guy with my toes. That's what reminded me of Ryu, especially bearded hot Ryu. And seeing the way that game goes, I'm liking the fact that they added the color in the trailer that they did with Street Fighter V with like the fruit roll-ups, the fruit roll-up like Nickelodeon slime effect that they had in Street Fighter V. And that shows that yes, this game is going to be more grounded and realistic, but still maintain the colorfulness of the Street Fighter series in a sense. And let's just hope that that is actually a teaser of things to come, that this game isn't going to be so grounded in reality that it's brown, it's gray, it's muddied, it's dark. Because that's one of my big criticisms about MK, because while Mortal Kombat is supposed to be a dark, gritty game that takes place in like an apocalypse because Outworld's constantly invading Earthrealm, you can add a little bit of color in that game, and to me, it's just like the last couple of Mortal Kombats, they just lacked a little bit of color to me. The characters just didn't pop as much. MK11 was better, but I mean, in terms of that, I just really hope that in terms of Street Fighter 6, we see a little bit more color than what we've seen, because these environments have been, I mean, Street Fighter V, in all intents and purposes, I thought was a gorgeous game, minus Ken's banana hair, minus all the other like deformities of character developments, but at the end of the day, the environments were gorgeous, and the movements were okay with the later characters, especially the later DLC characters. They put a lot of effort and time. As the characters went on, you can see the developers like figured it out, and it was just something that you just saw the game's progression as a whole. So I hope they maintain a little bit of that art style in this realistic art style of Street Fighter 6, because if that logo is anything to go by, they might be kind of grounding it a little bit too much, or might be a little bit too ambitious with grounding it.
Well, tagging on to that, I feel like games should be done well before they get released.
Yes.
Like it's great that they get this, like it's a new fad of its own, like this Final Fantasy 14 treatment. But we've already seen it so many times. It's like these games come out and then they fix them later. Like, no, just you got the money, pour it in there, and make sure it works the way you want it to before you fucking release it. You know it's
one of your favorite games over the last couple of years is an example of that, Fallout 76.
Yeah. Fallout 76, Cyberpunk 2077, for you guys, Street Fighter fucking 5. That's the ones I can think of off the top of my head.
Pay us full
well, no
price
excuse
now
for
a good
Cyberpunk.
game
That's a
in 5
single-player
years.
game.
Huh?
Huh?
What?
I said you gotta pay us full price now for a good game.
Exactly. Like, cool. I bought this game super early because I've been excited about it coming out. It sucks nuts. Oh, we fixed it later. You're welcome.
Yeah, and then everyone acts like you should be grateful. Oh, it's good now. They fixed
No.
it. They fixed it.
You lose most of your player base because you only get one launch of a game at the end of the day, and you
And there's
lose
only
most
ever-
of your.
Yeah, only 14 was the only one that was even like apologetic either.
Yeah, everybody else didn't really fucking care.
Because it was such a clusterfuck,
Well,
and the way that it turned
Fired
itself
everyone,
around.
hired Yoshi, like apologized, set their own world on fire, rebooted, gave it back for free. Like everyone else is just like, oh, here's some DLC to make it better. It's $5. Here's some more DLC to make it better. It's another $5. Oh, great. Thanks.
Yeah, that's one thing with Street Fighter 6 that needs to be improved. It's just their DLC system in the way, because the way they promise Street Fighter 5 is you can unlock these characters through normal gameplay. No, you have to fight a shit ton of ranked matches just to get one character, so you can get enough fight money.
You gotta make fight
I thought
money.
that was stupid.
Yeah, which was Balrog. My fight money!
Okay, how many characters are in Street Fighter 5 for this to happen?
I didn't start off with a big roster. I mean, eventually,
Not a big roster whatsoever. It ballooned from there. I think there's like well over 40.
how many is now? I don't know. I stopped playing it a long time ago.
A long time ago.
I did not stick around for them to make it better. There were too many other options.
Yeah.
Well, I was just asking because I can't say that that's not fair because they do it in Smash, but Smash has like 90 fucking characters, so
Yes.
so it makes sense for it to, for some of them to open like that.
Well, you should always offer more characters, like, because it takes so long to create characters. You create your base roster, create the game, get it out to people so they can play it, and then continue working on characters so you can give more options. This was not the case. Like, you gotta have a strong starting roster before you start playing DLC. You can't rely on your DLC to fix the game, that's the problem.
Yeah, like KOF 15. Huge roster at the beginning. And we're adding to it. You add to an already good thing. That's what DLC should be doing. Street Fighter 5 was, here, peppered in. But the gimmick with that game was, they said, you can unlock all of these characters through normal gameplay. Like, no, you can't. You have to literally grind for hours just to get one character. That's stupid.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
And you can't
take
buy
that
them
long.
individually either. You have to buy the season pass.
Of course.
And I thought that was stupid too. I'm just like, okay, you can unlock the characters individually, but you can't purchase them individually.
Street Fighter 5
I would have liked to
45 characters.
45. I thought it was over 40. I didn't think it was 60, but I knew it was like 40.
That's a decent amount for a fighting game.
That's a lot, because you only think about it when you play a fighting game, you're only going to learn and master like one character, maybe pocket another one, so, choose your destiny. Giving that amount of choice, especially to players that are like new to the game, giving that amount of choice could overwhelm them. But at the end of the day, more variety is good to appeal to a mass variety of people. And that's the one thing, fighting games really, really go about is diversity. I mean, the best fighting game player in the world right now is a furry, Sonic Fox.
What?
I mean, and
Did
45.
you say is a furry?
He is a furry, yes.
Yeah. I think what it launched with like 14 characters or some crap.
Base, like super base.
And that's just not enough.
What? I think it was Ryu, Ken, Charlie, Bison, Chun-Li, Zangief, Rainbow Mika. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, Vega.
And Birdie.
And Birdie. They launched with Birdie. Fat Birdie at that. So we're probably thinking 10 characters that they launched with, and then they pretty much quadrupled their roster through DLC.
Pretty much.
That's insane.
And then buried you with Chun-Li costumes. Oh, there was also Lara. The Brazilian.
Yeah, and Nikali. I think it was like 14 to 16 characters.
Yeah. Everybody forgets about Nikali.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have there been any Nikali mains in, like, the top 10 in any tournament?
Oh, yeah. He was a regular top 8 appearance for quite a while.
But not lately, though.
Oh, not. I think he's fallen off. Most of the base roster is fallen off.
Yeah. But I think, like, in terms of, like, playtime and pickup, he's, like, the lowest percentage. Like, partly in the lowest. Birdie's in there, too. But Birdie was, people remember him from Alpha.
Well,
Nikali was a brand new character they wanted to push on everybody.
Yeah, Birdie won Evo. Or was Cap too. Yeah. Was it Birdie main?
He literally has a banana peel. He's Mario Kart, the fighting game character.
What's wrong with that? I could just throw a banana at your face. Right?
Yeah, so everything about Street Fighter 6's teaser trailer, because that's all it was just a teaser trailer, looks like it's very promising in the right direction. Except for the thing that's getting nuclear heat, and that's the logo.
Because it's different. But you know what? What do they say? There's no such thing as bad friends.
Nope. Because everyone's talking about it. That's literally...
Well,
no one's talking about any negatives from the trailer itself. They're just talking about the logo. And there was like, man, this is like the epitome of first world problems.
Well, now you're talking about it. Right?
Exactly. But you are talking. But you have heard of me.
Exactly. All right. I'll be right back in 5. You guys can carry to our next topic.
The topic? The toadic? Toad pick?
Well, if you want to chime in, because I told you to hold off the other day on the stream about how Nintendo is closing its Wii U shop.
Oh, yes, the Wii U, not just the Wii U shop. I mean, it would be one thing if it was the Wii U shop, but the 3DS shop. Like, my goodness, like, that was, like, the best-selling game console of, like, the last generation was the 3DS, if you want to count handhelds in there, because, my God, the 3DS was everywhere. I mean, you go to any convention, how many spot passes did you get, street passes did you get, from just people just attending different things, and they just constantly go and they're like, hey, what's up, hello, how I'm going, and they give, like, your little, like, the Miis, yeah, the Miis is what they are. I was thinking, like, avatars, I'm like, what the hell are they called? Miis. And then went right into that, and just one of the most popular consoles of all time, and it's all the games on it are about to go poof.
Yeah.
Ta-da! It's gone.
Well,
just like that.
They're trying to pull a Sony, and I don't think it's gonna work.
Pushing the button. Well, it didn't work for Sony either. They had a backpedal. Well, backpedal on the PS3.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of indifferent. Like, it sucks that they're doing it, but if you haven't bought the games by now, are you really going to buy them? Like, they're not making the Wii U anymore. They're not making a 3DS. Like, everybody that's already got it has got it. Like,
on that system, yes. And this is like the big thing, though, about, backwards compatibility and everything that's happening with that, is these games are just going to go... There's really no means to play them anymore. And Nintendo is creating artificial scarcity through digital means to say, now these games no longer exist. And what are they going to do to make them available? They had an FAQ there for a minute where they said, don't you have a responsibility to preserve your games? And they were just like, well, we're going to, eventually make them available behind our Nintendo subscription service. They eventually had to delete that FAQ because they got nuclear heat for that. And it was just like, okay, so now you're not going to preserve your games? What's happening there, where you're just going to lock everything behind a paywall, and then eventually that paywall goes away entirely, and you can't even get it whatsoever? I mean, imagine this now. Your Nintendo Switch in about, let's say, 10 years. Let's say in 10 years, they decide to turn off the Switch eShop. Now you got a monthly subscription service that you poured into that to get your N64 games, and you also spent a shit ton of money on Smash DLC with all these amazing characters that everybody freaked out about. And now they're gone, and when that storefront goes, you're not going to be able to get those characters back because of all the licensing issues and everything that's happening. And then all of that great content with Smash Brothers is just gone. It's just completely gone. We're moving into an all-digital age, kicking and screaming, yes, in terms of getting like digital distribution in games, but you got to instill confidence to all of your consumers that my games will be there in 10 years, that I can go back to and play them if I wanted to. Because that's what we do on this channel. We go back and play old games. But because of the way...
yet. It's still sitting there.
What's that?
I haven't got rid of my PS3 yet.
You can't, because you can only play games on the PS3.
Exactly. I have two, actually.
Yeah, you can only play games on that system because they're locked to that system. That storefront is locked to that system. And that's where these game companies back themselves into a corner where they make these storefronts proprietary to that, whereas you got like Microsoft with the Xbox. Xbox Live is available on the 360, the One, and the Series S.
And the original.
Yes. They're still available on those consoles. Eventually, they're going to turn off the Xbox Live on 360. That's just going to happen one day where it's going to happen, but you can still get the 360 games on the newer hardware.
Yep.
And still download it on the newer hardware.
And some of the originals.
Yes.
Which is amazing.
With that, and in terms of buying games digitally, I'm more confident going on Microsoft's platform to do that on your storefront, because I'm confident that my game will be there in 15 years or so.
Yeah.
Whereas Nintendo and Sony, not so much. And that's the big thing that about this 3DS shop and the Wii U shop closing down, is the fact that, yes, you gotta eventually turn off the storefronts on these consoles because nobody owns these consoles anymore. But there are games on these consoles that you can only get on those systems. Like a big example, we were talking about Xenoblade Chronicles 3 yesterday. Xenoblade Chronicles X is still locked to the Wii U. They didn't port it to the Switch like they did all the other Xenoblades. They just decided, no, this is going to be Wii U because, man, that thing took too much advantage of the Wii U pack. You had to download data packs to enhance the game on a Nintendo console. Like gigabytes of data packs just to make the game run a lot better on the Wii U, and they having a hard time getting it on the Switch, even though I think because Xenoblade Chronicles 3 exists, X is going to be able to exist later on. It's just, I want to be able to play that on another system, a modern system that I own and that I actually have hooked up. Yes, but make it available, because I would like to have that option. There's really no reason why it should not be available when your competition does, when Microsoft does it, when Valve does it. All intents and purposes, Epic Games is going to do it on their Epic Games Store, even though the Epic Games Store's launcher is not the best. I am confident that they're going to be able to keep their games on that storefront, because that's just the way it's been. And Valve, especially for like 20 years, has games that have been listed for 20 years, and all you got to do is just have the hardware for it, and it's available on any computer. Any asshole has a computer now, so you can play games from 20 years ago pretty easily, and they've just made it available on each corresponding system. You have the same ability with, I'm also mentioning Google Play. I'm mentioning Apple. You can still play games from the app stores on newer hardware. Some of the games aren't optimized because the fragmentation of Android, but they're still there available for you. If you want to play World of Goo, a game that came out like 15 years ago. You can do that. And you can't do that on Nintendo consoles, and just Nintendo's offerings online are pew. I mean, have you downloaded any N64 games on your Switch, Nags?
We have not upgraded to that.
That's the thing. You have to upgrade to do it.
Exactly.
You have to upgrade your online subscription service to download N64 games, inferior ports of said N64 games, when these same games have been re-released on other consoles and they run better. Like Ocarina of Time 3D on the 3DS runs a lot better than the native N64 emulated version on the Nintendo Switch eShop. That's madness.
Well, it wasn't even a good port on the Nintendo Wii U when it came out. It was crap.
Yeah.
So
it's just like, okay, here's these N64 games that you've played ad nauseum for years and with no real upgrades to them whatsoever. Like, oh, you get the digital functionality of that. I've been doing that with emulators in years, bro. What can you, the owner of the game, offer me that fans cannot?
Yeah, like I feel like emulation isn't going to go anywhere, and I know they try to shut it down like all the time, but like it's like, why? You don't offer these games anywhere else. Like, how are people from a younger generation supposed to play them?
No, it's not. And the thing is, Nintendo goes after the big bads that actually pirate their modern games and, actually profit off of them. Like that guy Bowser, he got fucking nailed to the cross, but he was making like millions of dollars off of pirated software. So yeah, they're gonna go after him and big fish to fry. But the emulator sites that we get our games from that are just more obscure, like the games you're never gonna be able to find again, like Pepsi Man. Those sites ain't going away anytime soon, because when you shut down one, 10 more take its place.
Yeah, they'll just make another one.
Yeah,
like, they just have them on a dedicated server somewhere. They can just re-upload them real quick.
They should. The feds raided the Pirate Bay. It was back online in like 2 days.
Yeah,
it's not going anywhere.
It does suck to shut it down, but there's a part of me that understands why. Like, if you're not getting enough support from it, like, why continue to support it? But at the same time, offer it to the newer console instead of a stupid subscription service.
Yeah.
Like, in a day and age,
it's very limited.
Yeah, in a day and age where you can actually like hold more of these games in your library because of the memory space is so tiny, and it's just fucking easier now.
Invest that infrastructure to your cloud-based gaming on the Switch, because it's garbage.
Yeah, it is garbage.
Get that working.
The only good thing about it is the rewind feature. But you're not really playing the game as it's meant to be played anyway. Just I feel like that feature, it just makes it easier for players today to beat a game that you didn't have continues, or you didn't have a restart button, or you didn't have it make it so easy.
Beat Link's Awakening without the use of save states. How about that?
Exactly. See, you had to do it I made you do it the old-fashioned way.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's how, like, the world is going. Like, if it's not in and out of my brain in like 20 seconds, then I don't fucking care about it. That's why I think TikTok is a fucking poison.
Instant gratification and your 6-second attention span.
Mm-hmm.
And all you hear as you're browsing through it is, I understood the assignment. I understood the assignment.
Yeah.
And the, oh no, oh no, oh no.
You came back at the right time.
Yes, he did.
We were talking about Nintendo closing its Wii U shop. So I my brain thinks it has something to do with the fact that while I think the Switch is great, but it adds this fast forward and rewind button where you can just get through it pretty easily. It's just like, we used to do with save states, but I feel like the attention span of newer gamers is just completely gone downhill. Like, you're not playing the game the way it's meant to be played. Like, it makes sense for like people of our age that have already played it before. Like, we don't have as much time as normal. But for like kids these days who have the time, like, they're just getting ruined.
You listen here, Sonny.
For
Back
me,
in my day.
Yeah, I feel like a fucking old guy now. God damn it.
Back in my day, we used to have to run around constantly, getting into 50 million battles just to level up our characters. We couldn't have this fast-forward feature or turning off encounters and stuff.
Yeah. I feel like it goes back to the TikTok conversation, how it's a fucking poison.
Yeah. Except, obviously, faster games doesn't lead to recommendation.
Yeah.
Well, we talked about that. It's just games as an industry took that route, where it was just full-on monetization, and it was just whatever they could milk the cow for more, and that game design as a concept took a backseat. And now one company that never did that was Nintendo. Game design, like, quality has always been the name of their game. Like, they're very picky about how their top IPs are displayed, portrayed, and the quality of game that they're allowed to be in. You really can't say the same for many other franchises of that level.
Yeah.
I think Nintendo's closing the Wii U shop because they want to dedicate resources to keeping it open. It's probably not like a hardware issue, but when you have like another form of money coming in, then you have to maintain all the accounts for that. They got staffing and accountants and payroll and all these things they got to do. That's just this.
Just to keep that open.
Finances of running a big corporation, and it's like we're not marketing the Wii U. We're not pushing the Wii U.
We're not making the Wii U.
We're not making the Wii U.
Yeah, we're not. But we're dedicating staff positions to the services that surround it. It's not just something that you can keep open ad infinitum. Like certain other things that you can do, which leave the servers open. Well, that's fine when games go into like a sailing off to the sunset state, it's complete, and they leave the servers open. Then they just press the reset button once in a while to clean the servers. Like you can't buy anything anymore. There's no financial ties to it. It's always, if you bought it, it's free. Keep going. But there's a lot of services on the back end that you don't think about for keeping that thing open. I mean, yeah, it sucks, but
it does suck.
Hopefully they do get better with bringing their retro games forward, so that when you buy them once, you get to keep them. It was better between Wii and Wii U than Wii U Switch.
Yeah, like we said before, that was probably the best it's ever been. only Xbox is doing it just as well.
But if they if they do their subscription service well, and you start expanding that library and making sure, like, okay, here's one flat fee, you get access to everything, regardless of whether you, which is kind of what they're doing with the NES, SNES, and N64, but the N64 emulation crap.
Plus, it costs more.
And it
costs a lot more.
Like, but a lot of people still got it because they knew they could get people.
that dedicated Nintendo fan base where they just get nothing but Nintendo, and they're just like living and breeding Nintendo, and I'm gonna buy everything that's out there and get the whatever I can offer, even if the options are limited, like they usually are on these storefronts that Nintendo offers.
It's Nintendo has some similarities with Apple, right? Apple, I don't think they're that great, but a lot of people do. Apple, while I don't think they have the best phones on the market, they have a required minimum quality of product before that it's allowed to be an Apple product. So people trust that minimum quality. No Apple product has ever been the best product on the market. Even though they'll market that way, none of them have. They've always been inferior in multiple ways. But they have a minimum quality, and they have a intentionally designed ease of use to people who are not tech-savvy. And that's what keeps those loyal customers. We'll always make sure our platform is stable. We always make sure our product has a minimum level of quality, and we make sure it's easy to use.
I do like that it's easy to use.
Nintendo, Apple.
Same thing. It is very easy to download the Wii U shop.
Tang, if you can move your microphone a little bit closer to your mouth, you're a little bit trailed off as what you were.
Yeah, you'd like that, wouldn't you?
I don't know if I like that too much.
Should I do it slowly? Should I do it slowly?
Yes, that's good.
No. Whisper sweet nothings into your ear.
Do we want to talk Ubisoft a little bit?
Ubi. I mean, talk Ubisoft. I don't know much about the latest news, unfortunately.
This is more of a Ray question.
This is a bubble, but I do know Ubisoft is, like we talked last time, is working on a Star Wars game.
I mean, the latest Ubisoft news is the fact that their NFT storefront is still sucking. They can't, make any types of money off it, and they're still trying to peddle it onto their employees, or even like giving them free ones, and their developers and employees are like, we don't want this. Stop it.
Yeah, Square confirmed that there's no they're not doing NFTs in 14.
Ooh.
That was that big rumor, like, oh, NFTs. No, they said they're not.
Isn't the whole
not in
game
14.
an NFT?
Pretty much.
Kinda. I mean, pay to play. But then you can't. You get into like technicalities. I mean, technically, I could rephrase everything you ever did, or anything you paid for. Oh, you paid to get in that amusement park? Well, you don't own that amusement park. It's
like this beautiful C4 I paid for? Sponsor us, you motherfucker.
Eventually, it's going to happen.
That's an NFT. You don't own that C4. It's just a representation of what you're drinking.
Yeah, you own a unique copy of it that was serialized on that part, everything like that. But they said there's no NFTs in FF14, but in future games, they're still going to explore the possibilities. Even though I like it funny that the translator was like, calm down, just calm down. Just calm her down.
It's none of my business, though.
None of my business. But yes, Ubisoft is still trying to be the forefront of NFTs, and that could go wrong for them, as it went wrong with Electronic Arts being the forefront of loot boxes. And then they were just like, you were on the wrong side of the news on that one, and you're not doing what you want to do with that. And eventually, I think you don't really hear much from EA these days in terms of, like, it's been a while since I've heard any type of bad press from EA in terms of, like, doing slimy shit. Yeah.
It was getting too much flat. And EA is so global, right? You can't think of EA as just like Madden. EA is global. They work for FIFA, They are very much present in the global game industry. And when you have,
especially FIFA,
and when you have multiple countries banning loot boxes as a form of gambling, you got to fix that shit, because you're just shrinking your market.
Yeah. But keep milking the good old US of A, because they're all about capitalism. Extreme capitalism.
We did talk about this on stream the other day, how I was telling our viewers that EA didn't always used to be so money hungry. There was
One of my favorite games of all time is EA. I don't know why I love it so much. It was back when they did big. EA big. They
Challenge
did,
everything.
They did a game called Sledstorm. That thing was fun. It was just racing on snowmobiles with tricks.
that was fun.
It's like
can hear that in my
Snowball
sleep.
Hydro Thunder. That was the one where our lovely resident big man Gamoff, we were playing that game, and it goes to a different map, and he goes, USA? What's USA? Does that mean it's harder? Steve, that's USA.
This.
It took me like half a second to realize what you were saying, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
USA just sounds like something that like a very bad stereotypic Russian wrestler would say. You members of USA, I will crush you.
Oh yeah. He had some Reyisms back in the day.
Still does.
It's like this guy's in Arcadia, he called Valua or Vulva. Either one works. Not what he called it. Vulva.
Volva. I mean, that U does look like a V, but yeah, it's Valua.
Oh yeah.
I'd love to hear
what ship battles in front of Vulva.
I'd love to hear how he would pronounce Garo, Mark of the Wolves.
Another great game. I love Garo. It was on Dreamcast.
Yeah, Ray. I was only asking mostly the Ubisoft about you because there's three actually Assassin's Creed games in the works. It seems like.
Ooh, woohoo! Talk about overload of that.
Well, I
still haven't beaten Odyssey.
There's a VR. It says, and there's one called Infinity, and then there's
Online.
Skulls and Bones, which looks like it was an expansion for Assassin's Creed 4.
I think that's
just
just
like,
a porn movie.
And literally just like, enhanced things about it. And they're also like, I think doing like a separate, taking some of the Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC and making it a separate game as well. And I mean, Assassin's Creed in virtual reality is fun in small doses, but I mean, virtual reality itself to me is like, I can only like do it for like no more than an hour, because then I start getting car sick, and I also like feel the crunch on my head because my head is strapped into the damn thing. So I'm just like, I don't really see that going too much anywhere. But to me, the Assassin's Creed series, Ezio trilogy, god tier. Then you have 4. And then there's everything else. And it's all the riffraff that, and it started with Assassin's Creed Unity, which was the 5th entry in the series. And that game was a clusterfuck. And then it's just, they've kind of like gone back because now they've embraced like this giant open world type system as Nags' head is cut off. They're just embracing like this giant like open world type system. But to me, it's Blinks.
He was trying to bat at you guys, so I focused the camera on him because he's funny.
Nice.
I thought we were talking about the old Xbox game, Blinks.
I still gotta play that. Don't worry, it's coming.
Get Blinks. So yeah, I'm not like I'm not like my hype train for the Assassin's Creed series. Like, call me in about like 10 years if they stop making annual or semi-annual releases of it. I mean, Call of Duty's gonna be skipping a year this year.
Thank God, nobody fucking cares about that goddamn
for the
game.
first time in 2 decades.
Annual releases is just a good way to make sure that your product slowly gets worse.
Yep.
Madden.
WWE 2K took a year off.
Yeah. And they're supposedly going to be better.
And now it's supposed to be, looking like it could be the best one they've put out in a decade.
Yeah, because all the models don't look like shit.
It doesn't look like Play-Doh poop.
The frame rate going crazy when there's smoke in the entrance. Oh, God.
Why does this look like Celebrity Deathmatch?
Let's get it on! still one of my favorite celebrity death matches of all time is Genghis Khan versus Mahatma Gandhi, where they came in through a time machine, but it was their personalities got switched because the time machine malfunctioned, and Mahatma Gandhi became like this massive, like, barbarian type murderer, and Genghis Khan was this pacifist. It was so funny. Speaking of Genghis Khan, I was showing Nags this yesterday on stream.
He found this old ass Nintendo game. That's never gonna get re-released.
Genghis Khan.
We need to turn that on and play it.
See if it actually works.
Well, that's one of the games we can get away with playing for all the streamers that go, I got original hardware. Yeah, that's great.
That's mainly for speed runs. You want the validity of the speed run. You don't want to actually play it on emulators because then you can really cheese
No, there's
it.
a lot of retro streamers that just original hardware. Look, I got it. Who fucking cares how you got it? Just fucking play the game.
Yeah. Although there were times where
you're just flashing your collection dick everywhere.
There were times though when we used that boom microphone, like the Audio-Technica boom microphone that I had that you call the foamy dick. There were times where it could pick up when we were doing the winter PlayStation. It picked up the of the PlayStation.
Yeah, like, does it matter if you play it on original hardware?
I mean, it's good for, the novelty of it is okay, I guess. But there's just some games you don't want to play on original. Like, there are games that I have original hardware for, but I choose to play the emulated version of because of collector value. I don't want to actually mess up the disc.
Yeah.